Hello. Well, I put up 3 tutorial videos on how to play the pan pipe. But it's surprising how much mail I get. I thought I was pretty clear by the time I finished those 3 videos that students would understand how to go about learning to play the pan flute, but I get so many questions. I said to myself, you know what, let me do another video and say some more of the same thing and see if it helps a bit. You know, we learn by repetition. You know, whether it's something you're trying to memorize or whether it's like a musical instrument and you're trying to play it, we learn by repetition. And the more times we hear it, or the more times we do it, especially if we hear different words of explanation, then it becomes clearer. So let me see what I might be able to say here that will clarify things even more simply. You know what? Pan flute. When did I get my first pan flute? Well, several years ago I was in Peru visiting with a friend, and I went into this shop and they had these pan flutes, right? Well, of course, if you're in South America, you're going to hear plenty pan flutes. So I bought one and brought it back home. Well, guess what? I could not get a note to play. So I said to myself, you know, it was a good idea, but maybe some other time. What I did not get to find out until actually recently is that a lot of the pan flutes that you may buy in various South American countries when you visit, a lot of them are just tourist items, you know, made as souvenirs. And I guess I'd have to say I bought a souvenir one, right? So it was no wonder really I couldn't get it to play. Look, this is it here, look. See? This is what it looks like. A nice looking instrument, but I just couldn't get a note to come out of it, and I couldn't understand why. Well, anyhow, as it happened, I went up on the internet maybe a year or so ago and decided, you know what, let me get another pan pipe and see what. And I bought this little cheapie for about $10 from one of the sites up there on the internet. It came to hand, and I took the thing up and put it to my lips, you know, and blew it, and lo and behold, the thing is working perfectly. Okay, so the next step was, let me get a better one. And then I came across a site up there on the internet, Brad White's site. Brad is in Hawaii, and Brad is making, you know, some very nice pan flutes, reasonably priced. So I sent and I got a flute from Brad, and I put the thing to my lips, and it was hallelujah ever since. I find a pan pipe is extremely easy to play. I do not know if it's because I have been fooling around with instruments, you know, for a long time, and I can play, you know, this one and that one and the other. But I found that the pan flute was very easy to play. Now, there are essentially two different kinds of, or two different, let's say, styles of pan flutes. There is the South American flute, which I just showed you, you see, and the South American flute is straight, right? It's straight. Okay. Now the other pan flute, and the one that I would get from Brad, and the one that Brad makes, is what you call a Romanian style. See, and you will see that it has a curve, right? A kind of a slight U shape. Well, I don't know. I do not have a good South American pan flute, so I can't really say anything much about them as far as ease of playing goes. You know, the South American one is straight. The Romanian one has a slight curve, and perhaps you could say that when you're playing the flute, because it has a curve, you know, that you can move along it better. I don't know. Anyhow, that's what it is. Now, the most difficult thing, I suppose, in learning to play a pan flute is to be able to produce a note. And truly, it's not difficult. I now have I don't know, several pan flutes. You know, and sometimes I leave them about the house. And just a few days ago, a friend visited and said, "Hey, so this is this pan flute thing that you play." He took it up, put it, you know, to his lips and started to blow it. Can't get a note. Well, that's no big deal. He didn't get a note because he doesn't understand the science behind it, or it's, you know. So what I'm going to try to do is to explain to you how the pan flute produces a note, and when you get to understand that, then you'll find out that 98% of the mystery is solved, right? Right. Now, suppose we take this cylinder, okay, and suppose you blew a jet of air across it. You want, in order to be able to get a note, you want the air, when it goes across the top of the tube, to hit the inside opposite edge, the inside opposite sharp edge. And when that happens, when your breath, for example, reaches over here, what happens is it rapidly fluctuates between going into the hole and going away from the hole. See, you get a vortex, if I use that word, set up. Some of the air is going down inside, some of it is going over the top, and you get this rapid fluctuation, and this sets up a vibration, and you get what you know to be a note, right? The vibration produces a sound, and the sound that you hear, you interpret it and feel that it is a note. Okay? Well, it's coming up to that kind of time. 10 minutes I have. Probably only about half a minute left right now. So I'm going to shut down this lesson, if I might call it that, here, and just start and keep going, pick up again, and we'll continue on. So I'm going to look for you in a few moments over on the other page.